I never imagined initially that we would create Kings of the Wild Frontier. It's such an iconic album. But in 2010, we had contact from Adam Ant himself, who suggested that it would be good for us to recreate the entire Kings album, but with synths, do it in the Johnny Normal style. It's not something I would have even thought of if he hadn't suggested it, to be honest. But we did. We had a go at it. We tested it out. We road tested it. We performed it on the road at Adam's gigs in front of up to 3,000 people, which was a bit balmy, to be honest. But the initial response was really good. That was late 2010. The next 2 or 3 years we spent honing the album and recording it, making it better and better. It became quite guitar-led to the point where we had to start back from stage one again, really. Decided to go more down the electronic route and get back on board with the synthesizer concept which we wanted originally. So we went back on track. We recorded after a period of illness, which took me out of operation for about 12 months. We went back into the studio and revised the guitar content, put loads more synths all over it, replaced all the drum tracks, and then we were absolutely amazed when Marco Pirroni said that he would be happy to come in and record some guitars with us. And that was a thrill and a bit of an honour, and it's turned out really well. So we're very, very happy that the album is finished, it's mastered, it's ready to go, and we hope you like Kings of the Wild Frontier, music for a future age. So when you were approached, and I can't remember how it happened, or when or why it happened, but we approached you about being part of the Kings of the Wild Frontier album. What went through your head first of all?
I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting.
Interesting because it was primarily electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you thought, well, we'll give it a whirl and see what happens.
Yeah. Had it not been electronic, unless you were offering me enormous amounts of money, or you were a great friend of mine, or I thought it was going to be funny, I probably, if it was just like, oh, we're just doing a version of Antmusic or something, I'd go, well, why would I, you know?
Yeah. Because
I have been approached by people who've said, like, do you want to play on our version of Antmusic?
Yeah. Well, why?
Why would I do that?
Because I've done it. Yeah.
But exactly, like, do you pay me money? Are you my best friend, or is it, you know, is what's in it for me? Really, I mean.
Yeah. Why would you? Yeah. Our new version of Kings of the Wild Frontier is aimed at two camps. When I was growing up, you were either in the Adam and the Ants guitar camp, or you were in the Gary Newman Human League keyboard sort of synthesizer camp. This version is aimed at both, because obviously the Adam and the Ants fans will hopefully like it because they'll recognise all the iconic tracks that are in it. Yeah. But also it's aimed at very much an electronic.
Oh, well, that was interesting. That's interesting, like doing it like as we would, you know, if we'd been an electronic band, what would have happened?
Yeah, but there will be people who grew up with a fondness for and their informative years for Adam and the Ants, but also grew up with one foot in the synth camp as well. So we're hoping that this will appeal to both sort of genres of music, really. So I mean that's quite interesting for us. On the new version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, are there any tracks that particularly float your boat in terms of the way that they've now been created?
I like the ones that are very different from the way we do it.
Like, well, I suppose, Dog Eat Dog is we've taken Dog Eat Dog, slowed it down. Yeah. Used spoken word, taken.
You took the drums off Kings of the Wild Frontier.
We did, yeah. Kings of the Wild Frontier, and that's, I suppose, that was what sort of summed up the whole of the album and the whole era of that music, didn't it? The tribal drumming and the guitar and the vocals, and we've taken all the drumming, really, the tribal drumming out. So I must admit, when we were making the album,
I think that's good. You took the tribal drumming out.
It was brave at the time, or stupid, I'm not sure, because we thought we needed to start somewhere, and we didn't want to have a karaoke type album.
Brave is sometimes the same as stupid.
It's a thin line, isn't it?
It's a thin line.
Idiots, ignore this You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal featuring Marco Pirroni at www.johnnynormal.net. You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal featuring Marco Pirroni at www.johnnynormal.net.
Feed Me to the Lions. There's a bit in the middle of there which is quite recognisable.
Yeah.
Which is from a famous film, I think.
There's Born Free and Lawrence of Arabia.
It's Lawrence of Arabia.
Right, but on the demo I did Born Free, didn't I?
Did you? Right, oh, there's a history of it then?
Yeah. See, I have a
serial ripper off.
I have a history of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I never noticed that until we did an interview together about 3 years ago, and you brought that up, and I'd never spotted that. And when I went out listened to it, and I watched the movie, and I thought it is really obvious when you hear it. And when we were recreating it, we left it in, but we disguised it a bit more than you did.
Right.
But it's still in there. Yeah. Do you quite like using other people's? How would you feel if
do I like stealing other stealing things off other people and benefiting from it? Yeah, I love it.
Soaring 10 miles high, I sing love words that make me cry.
You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
Los Rancheros is a song that sticks out on the album for me, because a lot of the album is more based, or seems to be more around American Indian type.
Yes, this
feel.
is about American cowboys.
It's about American cowboys.
Yeah.
It sort of it stands out for that reason. But the guitar part in that it does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? You imagine, you shut your eyes and listen to that track, you can imagine someone, riding on a Clint Eastwood on a horse,
Well,
riding.
that's the idea.
That sums it up, yeah. And we wanted to use that in our version as well, but maybe
of course,
make
but
it
it's
a little
not
bit
very
darker.
spaghetti western, because spaghetti western is all very deep and dark and sort of. It's not any Americana, because it's very.
Yeah.
It's just sort of.
Yeah, this is
lots
quite.
of minors.
This is quite a jolly song
It's
again,
jolly,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's sort of a triumphant,
That
jolly.
was Adam's influence to make it jolly, because
Make it jolly,
I would have made it,
yeah.
moody. I would have made it a few dollars more.
Have you heard any previous versions of Kings of the Wild Frontier album in its entirety? Are you aware of any that have been released?
No, there hasn't been any, has there? We made the first one, and the first and only Kings of the Wild Frontier in its entirety. I've heard cover versions of each individual track.
Yeah.
Buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
Take shelter from the power of my color.
buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
So, would I be right in saying that Killer in the Home is one of your favourite tracks of either version of Kings of the Wild Frontier?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Is there any particular reason? Is it just the general feel of the track? Is there anything particular about it? Is it good to play?
Oh, I seem to remember it being good to play. It's easy to play, which I always like.
Yeah. That lovely...
It flows. But then again, it would flow because I wrote it, so it would... To me, it flows.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody else who played it, they're thinking, look, this doesn't make any sense, but it does. It makes complete sense.
Yeah, and that's one of the tracks that starts with this cascade of drumming. And did that take much layering when you did the original one? Because it sounds like an awful lot going on there.
Yeah, there's loads of guitars on it.
Yeah,
there's loads of guitars in the middle.
And the drum
which
section,
is weird because it's like when we did it in the studio, there was like 4 guitar bits and a guitar solo. Then obviously I had to do it live with one.
Yeah.
And then when I learned how to do it with one, you think, why don't I just do it with one?
And of course, on the new version, we've taken all that out.
Yeah.
So we opened it instead of the cascade of drums. We've opened it with a pile of synths and sequences.
Right.
So it's not. Although it is. I was going to say it's not apparent exactly which track it is. But actually, if you know the song, it is apparent which track it is when that comes in, even without all the tribal drumming. Yeah. Because it is quite a strong track.
It doesn't have to be apparent, does it?
You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
Give
track we did that with, removing the drumming at the beginning, was Kings of the Wild Frontier.
Remove the drumming throughout.
Remove the drumming throughout from the album track, yeah. Which was a brave or stupid thing to do, but
sometimes that happens with albums. It's like you go through them and then you kind of get to the end of doing the last track. You think, oh, we sort of,
yeah.
Oh, now it's clicked. Now we have to go back and do all the others.
Yeah. A lot of the tracks that we've done, we've taken down a slightly dark route, and that's maybe because if you're using synths, you either go the jolly route and make it into an Erasure album, Pet Shop Boys, or you go the other route and turn it more into the sort of soft cell Newman sort of route, and that's
Diamond the Gallus.
More the
You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
We thought I think we started with I'll say the easy ones really, and we sort of worked our way up.
Which are the easy ones?
Well, I suppose things like Magnificent Five just had a bit of a groove to it.
Easy?
So,
do you think that's easy?
Well, I thought it was an easy one to attempt. Things like Kings of the Wild
Frontier. I wrote
Frontier.
it and I find it hard to play.
Things like Kings of the Wild Frontier and because they were singles and the iconic tracks, but Antmusic, Dog Eat Dog, they were really difficult because.
Do you know that's the song I hated playing Magnificent Five.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't like the song. I really like it. I don't know. There was something about it, and we tried to play it live.
What, just to the live performing of it, you didn't like?
I hated it. It was actually quite technically difficult. I don't know why it would be technically difficult. It's just like, you'd think that the person who sort of came up with the original parts could play them, but suddenly I couldn't. Or
Well, we found when we were going through the recordings, stuff that you think that you know. I started off by listening to Kings of the Wild Frontier, your original album, and then thinking, I'm going to listen to each track, and then we're going to go into the studio and we're going to do it bit by bit and piece together this thing. And I started to do it, and it started coming out like a really bad karaoke, but done on keyboards, which sounds bad when you replace a guitar-based album on keyboards.
You can't, it doesn't. It
It sounds like lift music.
Yeah, it doesn't just translate.
Listened to lots of other music in between, came back to it and did it from memory.
Yeah, that's good.
And it was so much easier to do. Yeah. Although the purists will listen and go, oh, he's used the wrong key, or there's a wrong key change in there, or it's the wrong note.
Well, I didn't know it was the wrong note.
But you didn't know. But sitting down and listening to it and trying to recreate someone else's work that is so unique was incredibly difficult
I can't
to do.
recreate my own work, so, I mean, why would you want to?
You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal featuring Marco Pirroni at www.johnnynormal.net.
Must be learned by heart, must be learned by heart, must be learned by heart, it's gotta be learned by heart. They believed in sex and looking good with their own brand of music. They weren't pandering. So which side of the fence are you on? Prick up your ears. Prick up your ears.
There's another track on the album which I found difficult, but Pete, who obviously plays guitars as well on the same album, he found it particularly difficult, and I think we'll never ever do this live if we get around to doing the album live, which is Don't Be Square, Be There. We had a real problem with that one, and I'm not sure why. It was just one of those tracks.
It's really complicated.
It was very, very, very complicated, and I don't know why.
It's one of Adam's riff, which once you get the sort of pattern to it, it's actually you go, oh yeah, that's what it's really really easy. But you know when it's like trying to do someone else's handwriting.
Yeah.
To them, it's completely natural.
Yeah.
And you know, and obviously when people have said, "Oh, I've tried to work out your thing," it's impossible. You can't. It's not impossible. It's completely simple.
Yeah. It was an absolute nightmare, and we put it together afterwards, and we thought that was probably the one track that we thought we were anxious about you hearing. And when we were listening to it, and we were looking at your face, thinking, what's he going to say about this? Because someone, I know the purists are going to say it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go. It's not the same. I mean, you're not supposed to do it the same.
No. Well, we
Why
like
would
it.
I want you to do it the same?
It was so difficult doing it. I can't believe.
But there have been so many different cover versions over the years, not only of Kings, of other stuff where I'm sort of used to hearing different versions of it. In fact, I'm sort of disappointed if it's the same.
can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
Music for sex people, sex music for hot people. Get up your knees and do the insect prayer. And we go like this, and we go like that. Music for sex people, sex music for hot people. Get up your knees and do the insect prayer. You might not like it now, but you will. You might not like it now, but you will. You might not like it now, but you will. You might not like it now, but you will. And music for sex people, sex music for hot people.
Jolly Roger
Yeah.
is a little less upbeat than the previous one, and not quite so light. We made it quite heavy.
Yeah.
We turned it into less of a British naval vessel and more into a ghost ship.
Right.
Really.
I mean, I liked it because a lot of people didn't like it. I was one.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people I know who do like Jolly Roger, because it's sort of the one on it stands out on the album as
I thought it was going to annoy a lot of people, so I thought that was good.
good enough reason to leave it in.
Good enough reason to leave it in. Yeah.
But that was quite a challenge to do, because we didn't want to keep the up tempo hornpipe type jovial feeling about it. We wanted to take it down a notch and make it a bit darker. Stick a dirty great grand piano in it. That's what we did.
Okay.
And some synths, pad it full of synths, and some cackles in the background.
Okay, well that's how you do it then.
Yeah. There you go. That's a recipe.
That's not something I've ever wondered. Well, how?
Well, now you know. Now you know. But it always amazed me that it didn't seem.
It doesn't.
It didn't seem to be questioned that you've gone from American Indians to cowboys to pirates within the one album.
No,
and a bit of disco at the end.
We were never questioned about it, and
And
if
it was
had
fabulous.
Been, if it had been, we'd said, I don't know. We never really thought about it.
Yeah. And does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
No.
Just like the men who sell them. If they showed us disrespect, we'd tie them up and flail them. Often men of low degree and often men of steel. We'd make you walk the plank alone or haul you round the keel.
You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
I mean, the word iconic comes out a lot because this album is, I mean, it was in the charts for a couple of years or so, and everyone bought it, and everyone we speak to, even on the synth side of music, everyone seems to say that was one of the first albums that they, you know, one day they were listening to ABBA and the next minute they were listening to that, and that was their introduction to, I suppose, what they would see as punk at the time, because they were missed out on the Sex Pistols.
Really?
That. So, yeah, so that was like that was their growing up music. That was sort of it. Is that something that, do you ever think about that? Do you ever, or if you do stop and think about that as a point, people take that as a point in their lives as a benchmark. Does that make you feel particularly impressed or amused or happy that people use that album continually as a reference point?
It certainly makes me feel happy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I use lots of albums in my life as reference points. And bizarrely, I've often, to Ant fans, I've always said, oh yeah, but you must go and listen to Electric Warrior or For Your Pleasure or, you know, or Aladdin Sane. And they go, all right, and they won't go listen to it. And I go, yeah, I'll listen to Electric Warrior. It's not that good. You go, oh, okay. It's a bit strange when you go, but that's one of my favourite albums. They go, yeah, but Against the Wild Frontier is better. And obviously you can't really compare your own stuff to other people's stuff. I mean, you shouldn't really.
No.
I mean, if I could make an album better than Electric Warrior, or if I could make my own favourite album, I probably wouldn't bother to make another one, would I?
No, I suppose not. Would you make it guitars or synths though?
Oh, definitely since now I've heard your version.
We're making history.
You can buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal, featuring Marco Pirroni, at www.johnnynormal.net.
Actors like to creep. The little children while they sleep. The leaders for a big red heap. And the good guys, he's the bad guys. And the bad guys, he's the good guys. And the call is making history. And the call is making history. Just living in the butts with can grow. And the good guys, he's the bad guys. He's the bad guys, he's the good guys. But the call is making history. And the call is making history. And the good guys, he's the bad guys. He's the bad guys, he's the good guys. And the call is making history.
One of the tracks we had fun with. We had fun with a lot of the tracks.
Well,
one of the tracks that was a real challenge was the Human Beings.
Oh, right. Why?
Us. Why?
Yeah.
You kidding?
There's not much to it, really.
Exactly. 'Cause bear in mind what we'd done to the other tracks. We'd stripped off all the Burundi drumming and the
difficult,
voices
though. I
and
mean,
the guitar.
It is difficult.
If you take the drums and the guitar and out of that one, there's not a lot left, really. So
You could take the drums out and guitar of anything. It's not.
No, but that one particularly is quite a sparse track anyway.
Yeah.
And we wanted to lose the tribal feel, make it more of an urban tribe thing than a.
It's
an
hard
American
because
thing.
you can't get away from that bass line.
No.
Which I seem to remember we tried. I remember we tried sort of going against it or going over it, or you didn't.
Yeah.
Or changing it, and then if you changed it, it wasn't good as it originally was, and it was like.
Yeah. Well, we had to. It was like, well, what are we going to do?
It's not my bass line; it's Adam's bass line. So it's somebody else's bass line, which you're thinking, yeah, I really like it, but I can't think of anything to do with it. And then you want to change it, and you think, I've just changed it, but it's not as good as what he did. And
yeah. Well, we took the drums out, and we thought, as how we cheated for the rest of the album, really, in a way. We thought we're going to take these drums out. We've got to put some drums back in, so we did. But those tribal drums, they fill a lot of
the album,
Yeah.
a lot of the aura of sound, the spectrum is filled with those drums. So once we took them out, we were left with all these gaping holes. But we were quite lucky that we'd fill them with synths. So we put sequences in and pads and all kinds of stuff. Managed to replace the drums with synths. So it's funny because when there's bits where drums drop out and there's just all these synths are in, and you don't even recognise that the drums are gone because it's just filled with drums.
There are some things you can't change, and I think the one riff in the world that is impossible to change is, and I've been trying it for years, is There's a Ghost in My House by Ardeen Taylor, which is, I think, was one of the greatest riffs ever made, and I've always wanted to rip it off.
Yeah.
And you just can't, because every time you try and change it a bit, it's just not as good as the original.
For the final track on the album, The Human Beings, I think we dropped a little disco drum machine beat in there part way through, which we just felt we'd taken it quite dark. We'd got build up a loads of synths. It was quite heavy, and we put in more instruments than in the original. And it got a bit towards the end, and we just dropped this little disco rhythm in towards the end. I just thought that was a sort of harking back to the little bit of disco in the original, although on a different track.
I always liked disco, and I think Adam always liked disco. Well, I know he did.
Yeah.
That's not to say we went out and, with complete... I liked Saturday Night Fever. I loved Chic, and I loved all that,
Yeah.
And I had done sort of punk interviews, and where a person is usually foreign or American. So, wasn't punk about destroying disco? And go, no. No, like disco.
Big vendetta. Yeah.
No, you didn't. I did. And you go, but Susie Sue used to dance to I Feel Love. I Feel Love was one of the greatest records ever made.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can't like it because you're a punk.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Because you killed all that.
What? And then it's like, I tell you what, mate, you write down what you'd like to hear.
Buy the CD and digital download version of Kings of the Wild Frontier, Johnny Normal featuring Marco Pirroni at www.johnnynormal.net.